Hello and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to do this. If you don't know what this is the control plate from a Jack White Telecaster. He has a signature guitar with Fender that has some cool controls on it, but you don't have to spend a fortune buying one of his guitars. These mods are very easy, simple things you can do yourself right at home. This is a control plate from a kit guitar, so it's really easy to do to maybe, for example, a kit guitar if you have one. So now I'm going to jump in to showing you how I did this. You can see it right here. I have little switches and wires and everything. It looks good, I think.
An eternity later.
Okay, so here I have a sort of a standard kit guitar electronics. I'm not going to go into this super much because I've already done so many videos on how to wire up Stratocasters and Telecasters and Les Pauls and Jazzmasters. I think I've even done videos on. So if you need help, you can look at those videos with this sort of standard electronics.
Just do it!
This video is about modding this. So first thing is, we have to sort out this rat nest a little bit, but we also have to do something about pickups. The switch here, basically it has these 3 legs in a row. I'm going to try to see if I can show you. Over here are 2, and they are sorted together here, and leaving the one here empty. And these 2 are, on this side, it's the neck, no, that's the bridge, sorry. The bridge and the middle, leaving the neck alone. And on this side, it's the opposite. Here we have the neck and the middle sorted together, leaving the bridge alone. So what we need to do, because the Jack White guitar doesn't have any of these, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't have an in-between position. It has 3 pickups, and like an old vintage guitar, it just doesn't do that thing. So what we need to do is we have to remove the wires and try to see if we can get in between here to split them up so that they are not connected to each other. It can be a little fiddly. I like to poke with my soldering iron because if I do that, I can get them to be not connected. Something like that. You can maybe twist them around a little bit with a plier, just so that they are not touching each other. Something like this. That's the first thing we have to do. Now, the wire here in the middle is the signal out from the switch. We don't need to mess with that because it's soldering both of these sides together. If you don't have both of those in the middle soldered together, then you basically have 2 switches. This 3 row here is separate from this 3 row here. But we're not going to use this side here. We're only going to use this side here for convenience sake. So I'm going to just add a little bit more solder to this.
I regret nothing. The end.
To just have something to solder my pickups to. I am not going to solder any pickups in place. I'm just going to tell you how to do it, because that way we don't have any issues. So yeah, we have these 2 pickups here basically, and let's pretend that this is the white wire. Let's pretend that's the, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I actually think that will be better. Let's pretend the white one is our bridge pickup. So if we flick the switch to the bridge position, we can see that it pivots that way, which means that the furthest away one is the bridge. This is one of those things that might be a little bit confusing because you might think that's the neck pickup, but in this case we call it the bridge because it's the opposite. You can see how it's flung mechanical way, like that. And then we take our neck pickup, we do the opposite side, which is here. And I wish I had some sort of pickup holding stands for this sort of control plate, but I haven't built one. So it's a little fiddly. And there we have that pickup. And let's pretend this purple little wire here is our middle pickup. We will just solder that to this leg here in the middle then. Something like that. Now, when it's pulled all the way there, it will be only the neck pickup. In the middle, it will only be the middle pickup. And then in the bridge, it will only be the bridge pickup. Obviously, you would also have an extra ground wire here, together with these 2 other pickups, ground wires, for the middle pickup. But I'm not going to worry about that, because I don't have a pickup. I'm just showing you something. So that's the first thing we have to do. Secondly, we have a bunch of wires here. And what we need to do is we have to drill 2 holes here for 2 switches. So I'm going to find the switches and then I'm going to drill the holes and I'll be right back. Don't forget to press the like button, the subscribe button, and write a comment below telling me something cool about Jack White. Check out how small it is. Perfect for guitar building, but super silly. Just gonna tighten these down so that they don't flop around. Look, I came up with a smart idea. I took a bit of extra foam and I just stuck holes so that it can lie in there. Hopefully it won't jump around on me that much now, and maybe I can even film this. Who knows? Okay, let's get in closer. Whoa! Not that close! No! I'm sorry. I'm just joking.
No.
Okay, so let's start out with this switch here. If you don't know, then I'm going to tell you now, and then you'll know. The switch on the Jack White guitar, it is a switch, but it looks like a knob because they just went with that style. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It's just supposed to be like cool or something. It's a switch, and the switch, what it does is, sorry, almost forgot to tell you what it does. But what it does is it lets you bypass the volume and tone control. Or at least I think it's both the volume and tone. It might be just the tone, which honestly I think is completely stupid because, I mean, you just roll it off. I know people are like, there is a percentage of the signal still go to ground, but I never mind. People are stupid. Anyway, so what we need to do is we need to splice this one in. So what we need to do is we need to unsolder this one. I was thinking first maybe we can just cut it and splice it in, but this wire is a little short, so we're just gonna splice in a new one. This is the switch signal. It doesn't matter, you know, where you put anything else, but this one needs to go to the middle. So I'm gonna see if I can get that into the middle without having my hands be too much in the way, so that you guys can see what it is I'm doing. We'll see if I succeed. Go. And then we need a new wire. Always cut back the plastic to reveal the inner copper, and then always put a little bit of solder down on that exposed wire before you try to put it in place. So this new wire, it goes back into the volume input just like the wire that we just moved did before, and then the new wire gets connected to either side of this. It doesn't matter which side of the switch, but I'm going to take this side just because it's the closest. And when I say it doesn't matter, what I mean is, I mean obviously it does matter because I put it on this side, which means that the volume and tone control is going to be when the switch is flicked up, and then when I flick it down I'm going to bypass it. All right, good. And we need a longer bit of wire, so we have let's see here, where is it? It's this yes, this here, there is a connector on it. That's why I got a little confused. This is our wire to our jack, and what we need to do is we need to add another wire, and we need to cut this to be as long as the other one. I'm going to replace all of this if I use this in a guitar, because I don't like these connector things. I don't think a real guitar should have that. It's okay if you're a beginner and you're starting out, but I'm going to replace them. And you should too, because they're not solid connecting things. So I cut a wire that I feel is more than enough. This is more than what we need. Not super much too long, obviously, because you don't want to waste wire, but you also don't want to cheapen out on wire length. And then I'm gonna pre-tin this and add it to this leg here. And now I have that switch in place. And so on the switch here, I can select. I'll put it like that, so maybe you can see it a little better. I can select which pickup I'm going to use. You know, depending on where I put this, I have 3 options. And then here, I can either send the switch to the. I mean, I'm sending this switch to this switch, but I can either send it through this wire here to the volume and tone, and it's all good, or I can flick it, and this switch here goes to this wire here, and this switch wire here, the purple one, and this red wire here, obviously I'll replace it with a longer wire later, will go to the jack. So both of these wires together will be the positive wire of the jack. You can, if you want to, you could splice this one in here, for example, if you want to or something, because it doesn't matter. Let's actually do that, just because I'm going to replace this wire anyway, so I'm going to cut that off right there. And I'll give myself a little bit of wiggle room, so I'll cut that off there. And that way, you know, these two wires can be one wire. Instead of adding two wires to the jack, we can just connect them both here. And then I don't have to go in here and fiddle around, because, you know, there's a tiny space in between here for my soldering iron to get in, and it's just neater this way, maybe. You don't have to do it like this, it doesn't matter. You can have two wires on your jack, and then flip it around, and here we'll just we'll solder them together, like so. And then the switch goes here, and when it's down, the signal goes there, through the pot there. Or when it goes up here, the signal goes there and it goes out to the jack. That sounds good, I think. I'm gonna quickly just, this yellow wire is kind of, it's making me a little angry. First of all, I don't think we need it, because it's, you know, the switch is grounded through the plate. It doesn't need this ground wire. But also, yeah, I'm just gonna cut it off, honestly. I was gonna resolder it and everything, but honestly, we don't need it. Let's get rid of it. Okay, what do we need now? We have this kill switch here, and the kill switch is super easy. Now, on his guitar, the kill switch is on the pickguard. That's the word I was looking for. But I don't feel like doing that, so I'm gonna have it here instead. This means that this is just like a drop-in thing. You could add it to any guitar, you know. Obviously, it needs to be a Telecaster with 3 pickups in this case. Is what I'm trying to say. I can't speak or think. I'm just taking this yellow wire that I just cut off, and I just cut back the plastic on both ends, and I put a little bit of tin on it. You can see here. And I'm just gonna solder one leg on each side, like a little loop. So, and like so. And then we're gonna take one of these wires, we're gonna pull it over here, give ourselves a little wiggle room, and cut it, and strip it back. And actually I'll add it to the middle leg, just because there's only one wire there. And that way we don't have to like clog everything up too much. So now we have one wire going directly there. That's our lead signal. It's a little bit weird because they used a black wire here for the lead signal. Maybe I should have replaced it, but I'm thinking maybe you guys are so mature. Yes, you're all grown-ups. That it doesn't matter this one time. I usually like to be very neat about this, but I feel like I can be forgiven since I haven't wired this up. If I did all of this from the ground up, I would probably have a... I would have, first of all, I mean, I would have used a better switch, not better switch, I dislike saying that, a more expensive switch, let's say that, because that's truthfully true. Anyway, this one, you can solder it to any ground point. We have a ground point real close here. I'm gonna see if I can get it to go. For once, things worked out. Okay, so let's run through this again. I'm gonna zoom up a tiny bit. Okay, so we have our switch here. You select which pickup you want to use. You obviously, if you have a regular Telecaster, you want to add this to that, you can just keep the wiring for the pickups to the switch the same. You don't have to do this, you know. But here we have our pickups. Anyway, and we select here. We have our volume and our tone, just like any guitar. And then we have these two added switches here. This little switch here, and this kill switch here. So, the signal from your pickup goes through this wire here to this switch. And it goes into this purple wire here, down to your volume control, through your volume control, back up here to this wire here. That is just going to connect to the jack. Then you flick this switch. Let's do it. And now, your signal goes from the switch to this switch, gets flipped over here It won't travel back in this wire here because there's like nothing for it to go through there. Even if it did, it will die over here because it's not connected to anything here. But it won't. It will go here to this wire and travel to your jack. And the tone and the volume will not be affecting the signal at all. Then you have a kill switch here. And a kill switch is, you know, like an instant volume control, basically. It's just sending your signal to ground. You can add it anywhere, however you want to. All you need to do is you have to have a switch that connects when you are pressing down. And we can do one last thing as an experiment, something we can try, which is we can use a multimeter. Now, I'll plug out these prongs. You know, they have like a little tip. And I'll use a different kind. So these ones have alligator clippers. And what's good about those is we can plug one in and we can put one on this end of the circuit, which is the out. And then we can take our other prong, because I couldn't find both of them. And we can sort of just put this to continuity mode. And then we can just check. So for example, we can check this wire here. So we can see that the switch works, for example. Now it's connected there. So if I put it there, we're going to the jack. And if I flip it, we are going to the volume. And then I move the volume. You can see how it's... So, if I... So now the goes to the signal. I hope you can hear the beep. It's very annoying. But if I move the volume, it disappears. But then if I flick the switch, it's back. So we know that the switch works. We can test the tone. Oh, we can't really test the tone, maybe. Or maybe we can get a reading on it. Anyway, I'm just going to say that the tone works. But we can try the... We can't actually try the kill switch. Or maybe we can if we... Yeah. So, we can test the kill switch by holding this to ground. And then to see when it's up, there's no ground. And then we're connecting to ground. Killing the signal. So that's how you would check that. And yeah, that's the end of this video. So, there you have it. All wired up and neatly and nicely. If you have any questions or if you're confused about anything I showed you in this video, then leave your comments below. And if you're new here and you like this sort of things, don't forget to subscribe as well, because I have over 900 videos on different things when it comes to guitar building and pedal building and wiring things and all sorts of things. I also have a couple of weird vlog videos. You know, it can't be perfect. But anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you liked it.
Yeah, boy.
Until next time, don't forget to stay awesome and cool. And go and make this mod, or one of these mods, to one of your guitars. They can be a lot of fun to mess around with and play around with. And so do that, and yeah, you'll have fun.
Life is life.